Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of CAV. Super excited to be hanging out with you. I'm not alone. I'm with the gang. Sechaba, it's Cosmo.
What up?
Dude, you're so funny.
Me?
Yeah. Like you're actually very funny. Or crazy. Let me say crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in my brain. So. Thank you, though. I take the compliments.
You're crazy.
Thank you.
Brandon is also here. Shout out to Brandon. You said you slept at 3.
Yeah, bro.
Sech.
No, I woke up.
You woke up at 3.
Yeah. I had a shoot.
When you woke up, I was going to bed.
That's crazy. I was watching TV at 3 in the morning.
What are you watching at 3?
Oh man, I'm an insomniac. Like I've got like weird sleep patterns. So like I'll pass out really early because like I can be busy throughout the day. Ne? Maybe I'll be busy from like 8 in the morning and I'm rocking until maybe like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Then I get home, I eat dinner and I crash out. I'll probably pass out like 8:30, 9. And then I wake up at like 1 o'clock and I'm staring at the ceiling. So I watch TV until I sleep. Sometimes I sleep at 3:30, sometimes 4 o'clock, sometimes 5. And then I take a nap for 3 hours. I wake up and I start the day.
Shoo. You.
That's right.
I'm curious to know what you're watching. Like,
I watch absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Everything from
Trash TV.
thriller to comedy to romance. Depends on my mood. But I'm in a very big like thriller like phase of my life right now. Yeah. I've even started watching something really old school, which I
Yeah.
didn't realize was a big thing, Criminal Minds. I didn't realize it was a big show.
Yeah.
I'm on like season 3. And I think there's like 18 seasons. So I'm kind of stuck at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's making me paranoid a bit.
Yeah.
Like I'm even like locking my room and locking
Yeah.
all the windows, making sure nobody's getting in.
hey, that's what Stranger Things did to me. Yeah, no, Stranger Things did that to me. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
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 Especially when you're watching it at those hours. You're just
Yeah.
like, are the windows closed? Is
Yeah.
everything locked? Yeah. But otherwise, we're good.
So are you gonna go sleep?
Nah, bro. You mean after this?
Yeah.
Nah, bro. I have another shoot. But nah, I'm not going to sleep. Nah, I can't do it. I can't sleep and then wake up again. Nah.
Ooh, I'm the queen of naps.
Yeah.
That's how I
Oh, yeah,
survive. Me.
But after 5, you nap.
I nap. I'll take another nap, maybe even for an hour, 2 hours. Sometimes I can even take a 20-minute nap. And it
Yeah.
just feels like the recharge you need.
Power nap.
And keep
Yeah,
it
those-
moving.
You know, I struggle with those, eh?
Really?
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Power nap?
Yeah, I struggle with power naps. I think it's traumatic. So this one time I was at my cousin sister's place. She was away, so I was house sitting, and they broke in. But I was gone, like I didn't hear anything.
Yo.
That's bad.
So like
I was-
you're
and
like
I never sleep like that. So in the morning when I woke up, I saw something by the door, some ashes, and I
Yeah.
didn't understand what that was.
that's crazy.
So ever since, and this was what, 2013? Yeah,
Yo.
2013, 2014.
That's crazy.
So I struggle to nap. I'll only nap if there's somebody in the house.
Yo.
Then I'll nap. But if I'm alone, I go nap. And it's weird. It's like,
That's crazy, bro. Yo.
Maybe you weren't meant to face them, because who knows what could have ensued
100%.
if you woke up.
I mean, the guy came into the bedroom even.
Nah.
I
Yo,
remember I was
yo.
charging
And then
the
you
phone.
were in there.
My man,
Mike.
I was charging my phone.
Oh, what?
I was using my mom's laptop. So they took my mom's laptop. They took my phone. I had money though. For some weird reason, they didn't take the money.
They didn't want the man.
Maybe about 5K.
Really? Or
but
probably,
I
they
was
probably
hiding
didn't search you. Yeah, there you go. They didn't see it.
Or it was on you.
No, not on me, but it was somewhere in the bedroom.
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Nah, they probably just didn't know. They didn't, but also, people don't expect you to keep cash at home.
Yeah,
So they probably didn't
definitely.
think to look for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's why I struggle with naps.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But they're good. I mean, like the
bro.
very few times when I nap, I feel like a new person.
Sometimes even the 10 minutes just
Yeah,
says,
like-
"Kaka,"
Yo.
and then you move.
Dude, those are my favorite, bruh.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes, bruh.
yeah.
Wake up feeling like recharged.
Yeah.
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 That's what I thought I was going to be able to do before I came here.
Like nap.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Job, my brother.
Yeah. Cosmo, you know, I was on somebody's status today, and they posted the lineup of the Music Exchange program. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Okay. No, I'm not, but you can give
So
us some breakdown.
It's a bunch of creatives that come together and then they talk about whatever industry that they are in.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody has a slot. Starts at like 9:30 all the way until 5 p.m.
Oh, dope.
And there's a guy, DJ Ready D.
Okay, yeah,
You know
yeah.
him. He's going to be talking about the journey of being a DJ and artist in the South African context.
Okay.
And I started like thinking, and that's the question I want to ask you. In 2025, would you encourage somebody to get into DJing?
No. Don't do it.
That was quick.
Right.
No, don't do I'm joking. There's pros and cons to this thing. Look, also with the recent influx of everybody becoming a DJ, I understand where it's stemming from, and I think it's an industry thing. It's not necessarily purely just on DJing. I think we kind of touched on this even in the last episode where we spoke about gatekeeping and possible, barriers to entry and whatever. It's easy to be a DJ these days. As long as you've got software, you teach yourself, maybe you go to somebody's house, you learn how to mix a few songs. Being a DJ in 2025 is way easier than having been a DJ when Ready D started. Because you must remember, Ready D started and he still plays on vinyls. Vinyls is an absolute skill.
Yeah.
Like, you need to give that thing time. You need to give it energy. You need to actually physically learn. I actually learned how to DJ on vinyls. So I went from vinyls and then moved over to CDJs. And then I know I'm old now. But yeah, so vinyls, CDJs. And then I moved over to Serato. So I've played on pretty much all the mediums. And then now I'm playing on USBs.
Yeah.
It's all a software update situation. So it's easy for anybody who gives themselves the time to learn the software, to learn how to use it, whether you want to use a laptop, whether you want to use USBs or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Also, CDJs these days have also got such an updated program that it's not even that difficult for you to even sit and listen, because generally you would have to listen and count the beats. That's why when people talk about BPM, you're literally counting the beats per minute to see when you can mix in the song. Now there's a full screen happening there on the CDJs, it's counting for you.
Yeah.
Just put in the song, it reads the information for you. You just have to make sure you're keeping the lines intact. It's simple.
Automatic.
Do you understand? It's AI for DJing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, to get back to your question, at the end of the day, anybody can learn how to DJ. It's still a job in the sense that you have to still do the work and you have to arrive. You can have the opportunities, maybe somebody who owns a venue or whatever the case may be, and you go to that venue and you practice and maybe you get certain bookings.
Yeah.
But that momentum, that passion also still needs to drive you, because now you're turning it into a job. It's no longer a hobby. Are you getting the right context to get you bookings? Are you going to be able to chase those promoters to pay your time? Because you become a debt collector when you when you become an entrepreneur. You are blowing people up every week. Kopa chelete yaka.
Bruh.
Every
like,
week.
why?
Do you have the tenacity to stay and do that? Number one. Number two, also, it's a brand-related thing, because everybody can do it, what makes you so special?
Yeah.
So are you trending on social media? Are you doing something specific that people can pay attention to? Why should they book you? Can you bring a crowd? Can you bring bottle spenders? Because bringing a crowd doesn't necessarily mean you're bringing people who are spending money. You could be bringing the crowd that's going to buy a beer and then stand on the dance floor the whole night. But are you bringing the people who are spending and buying champagne? There's many facets to this thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not just about DJing. You're part of the cycle of entertainment at the end of the day. The same way the marketing manager has a job, the barman has a job, the security guard has a job. You as a DJ are part of that cog. And it takes passion. That's why you also find a lot of people who start with the DJing and then halfway through you see them dissipate and they're no longer DJing. Because you need to keep at it.
Yeah.
It's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Every day you need to arrive. Do you have that in you? So whether I would convince people to do it, I'll say yes and no. Yes, because it's easy money. So if you have the right context and the willpower to do it, cash-wise, it's really great. Sustainability, if you've got the creativity, if that's your thing, if you're passionate about music, because you also need to know what you're doing.
100%.
People can tell 100%, like from the get-go, whether you know it, because you also need to be able to build your set. You can't just play songs because they all mesh together. So it also becomes a mess. You can play a song that's up here and mix it with a song that's down there, and then up here, and then everyone's confused. and everyone goes to the bathroom and the bar because they don't know what to do on the dance floor. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into it. I would say no. Purely based on the fact that it's saturated. Everybody's a DJ. Everybody's trying to get the attention. How are you going to stand out? If you have answers to those questions, by all means, do it. But, Guningi.
Innit? Do you remember what was, according to you, the best set that you ever played?
Oh, there's been so many. I'm trying. You guys are so boring.
Yeah.
I can't remember one specific set, if I have to be honest. What I can say, I know specific crowds that I enjoy playing for. 100%, I'm a festival girl. When I've got 10,000 people in the crowd and everybody's singing the same song, that feeling is just so amazing. When you drop the music and everybody screams, ah! Or you choose a song and you're playing their favorite song and they all go, wah! That's the most amazing feeling. So I enjoy playing festivals and I like playing for student crowds because the students know the brand new music. So I'm not stuck playing an old school set because in no, when I'm playing for the young guys, they know the songs that came out like this week. And it also gives you like a sense of, oh man, music is still the thing. People are still enjoying it. People still want to hear new stuff. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get stuck in a rut where you can only play certain types of songs because you're playing for a certain crowd. And that crowd doesn't want to progress. So you're stuck in that time zone. And then you also get bored as a DJ. Do you know what I mean? So I like playing for students and festivals 100%.
Yeah. Speaking of students, I actually want us to get into the segment What's Popping. Something happened yesterday in Cape Town. Milnerton High School. About 8 boys started assaulting a grade 10 pupil. Yeah. So they used hockey sticks. Let me actually get this. So this
what was it, hazing or was it just bullying?
Bullying.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, bro. Like, so in a video that has since gone viral, the pupils can be seen using a hose pipe, belt, hockey stick, and wooden stick to beat the grade 10 pupil while he begs them to stop.
That's crazy.
And then they went and...
Recorded it?
No, I think somebody recorded it. But I think later on, they then turned themselves in at the police station.
Were they sober?
That's a good question.
Well, they probably turned themselves in because they realized there was video evidence. Because somebody caught them on camera, so they needed to then fess up. Also, maybe they almost killed that person.
Yeah. But you look at like our system, right? Apparently, because I think these guys are in matric, they are told that they are going to write their exams, but somewhere else. And I'm wondering, is that the only punishment?
I think maybe they're probably still investigating the issue. Like, for instance, like for me, the first thing that comes is whether they're sober. Like, how do you beat someone with a hockey stick?
And also, what caused the fight? What caused the uproar? Because bullying is one thing, but then why are you targeting the specific person?
Yeah, that's
There's usually like something that, you see, in criminal minds, there's usually a stressor. There's usually a stressor that kind of gets people to this point. Why would you choose that specific student and why? Because now you've also now rallied up other people to feel the same way about this kid.
Look, I don't know the details. I have a theory. It might sound silly. And the theory is that the grade 10 pupil probably started dating one of the guys' girlfriends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think the guy was not about that, and he decided in Sesotho bare regular vote.
Imagine.
Where you go now bring an entire crowd.
Yo, brother.
And then you start to beat up on this grade 10 pupil.
That is
and it's like
crazy.
8 of them. One person.
Can you imagine how the parents feel? You think you're sending your child to school to learn, for them to come back in a stretcher, or for you to have to go and fetch them at the hospital.
Bruh, who's Pep big guy, boy? Hockey stick.
Yo.
What's a hockey stick, bruh?
Yes, it's one of the reasons I never played hockey. Because the ball and the hockey stick.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in school, there was a guy, they hit him here, no? and like and then like his teeth cut this part of the skin, so his tongue could literally go through here. Yeah, that was like, even with me, like never hockey. But you see that whole mentality. I've actually been like
In that.
in that.
Yes.
You know, I've actually been in that. Like where I come from, like Majita. Like you don't even know why you're there, but you just participate. But I wasn't participating.
FYI.
Yeah, but we were coming from Groove, right?
Yeah.
And it was a similar thing. Mara with the guys I was with, neba kopa ngwana batho, like they were what do you, like neba msugela. You know, like there was nothing like that. And they were like, "Hey Joe, asichere how ye, wabo?" And then they all like just started like Vale entertaining that thing, and they beat him up.
Yeah.
You know, like at the time it was like around the same number, 6 to 8 guys like beating this brood up, and I knew him because I went to class with him. That's why I was like, I'm not gonna be a part of this because I know this guy personally, wabo. And then we walked further down. Funny enough, I came across like my mom's car, like my mom passed by, like passed us, wabo. And then there was another group of like, no, it was a pair of guys. Like there were 2 guys walking. They were walking home. It's late. Same thing happened.
Yo.
But now it was like more of us. Like there was like probably like 16 guys like beating on these 2 guys for nothing, bro, for nothing. But with us, like they didn't turn themselves in. The cops actually came and collected all of
So
them.
now my concern will always come in with conversations like this, whether it's bullying, whether it's assault, whether it's whatever the case may be, because sometimes there's different situations that happen. At what point do you with your friends now start holding each other accountable?
I was about to ask the same
When
question.
are you guys then saying, guys, what we're
Yeah.
doing is wrong, let's stop everybody?
Yeah.
Why is it okay for everyone to jump in as opposed to pulling each other back and saying, let's think about this thing, this is wrong, let's not do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very important question that you're asking because it reminds me of this prayer. And, you know, the guy in the prayer, he says, to say nothing is to say and to do nothing is to do. So, Sechaba, you saying you were part of that gang, right? But you did nothing. You just stood back. But that is actually doing something.
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you're asking a very important question.
Yeah, I feel like that's why when they collected or the police van came, we were part of it.
I like it.
Because you understand? But I think it begs that question to, I had to do that, like self-intro to say, okay, no, but why? What am I doing here? Because I was still young. I was probably in grade 7 or 8.
Sure, yeah.
See,
very
and
young.
like all of these bros are like my seniors. Like they're the ones who, whenever we go out or go play soccer, they protecting like
Yeah.
basically. So you hang around with them because they are the ones that protect you or whatever the case might be. But it's from there where you make that conscious effort or conscious decision to be like, nah, I can't be a part of this. I can't.
Yeah, no.
Yo, but now,
But to also be like the one to be like, no, you're
yes.
not gonna do that.
But that's what I was about
But
to
how
ask.
far, Galway?
But that's what I was about to ask. Is that the fear that you are now that you're living with? Because you can see what's going on. You can see it's wrong. So that's why you're choosing not to get involved. But you're still watching. And being an onlooker obviously makes you part and parcel of the problem. Is the fear for you to stand up to them because you're worried that they're going to turn on you? Or is it a thing of, okay, I don't want to get involved because next thing I'm going to be in an interrogation room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the time I didn't even think about it because I was still
Very
young.
young,
you
yeah.
know? But when I revisit those conversations now, it is a thing of like you are fearful, you know, because like the like when we were all called and everything, they even called our like thing Egypt. You know, because like boys from my cast were known for that, like violence or whatever, and all of that type of stuff. And for me, it wasn't like a tough decision to be, but it was like it wasn't nice to start withdrawing from.
Yeah.
Like you know, because if not them, then what? Well, these are the people that you play soccer with. These are the people that you probably go even have recreational activities with, or whatever the case might be. But I was too young. Like I said, it wasn't like peers who were in my class or whatever, or I could approach or whatever. Maybe now that I have a better mental stance, I could be like, Amara, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But at the time, dog,
I hear you.
Yeah.
And the whole fear thing is a real thing. I mean,
Yeah.
who's the guy? He used to act Simpiwe or Sipiwe. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was generations at some point. He died because he was trying to protect these two ladies.
Yes, I remember,
the
that.
story?
Yeah.
So I get why you would be fearful.
Yeah.
I guess you know what it is one of those where if you stand up, you don't know what's happening on the other end of
Yeah.
that, because you see like he had passed away because he was trying to stand up
Yeah.
for a girl. I don't think he even knew that well, you know, but he was just trying to be the gentleman in the
Yeah.
situation. And then you as guys, you're also sitting back, you're like, hey, if I do something, but if I don't say something. And I think now, even with how intense GBV is, and how South Africa is so heightened and aware of violence and crime and situations like that, you also sit back and you're just like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I get it. I like from a logical perspective, I understand why men don't stand up, because you're like, because what if I end up like Simpiwe, you know what I mean? But in the same breath, it's also like, but you have to say something.
Yeah.
So now you weigh up your odds. Do you say something to the person who is being the aggressor, or do you go and find people to then stop the thing, or you know, what are the options?
Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it, or the best way. Because I actually know a brewer person who that happened to. Like something was brewing. He became part of the chat. They offed him just like that. And I wanted to say, Hori, before I like got a car, got the taxi, and back and whatever, and I've also like took a plead that I will be that guy that also, and then these guys were harassing these young girls, like I think Nabata Skolo or something, and like the way they were board, I interfered, and they were like, hey, like they were like, hey, and I was like,
you know what?
Let me. I don't even know. I'm far from
Let me
home
get rid
or
of
whatever.
this cape. Yeah.
But I think what then we need is like knowing those outlets to say, if something like this or a behavior like this erupts, what are my options if I'm trying to do something about it?
Yeah.
Because me trying to be in it could also just
it could just
perpetuate
like
the situation even further.
That's so true. That's so true.
the situation at the with the school boys. Did it happen on school grounds?
I think so, yes.
So then that also begs the question, where are the teachers? Where are the security? Where's everybody who's supposed to be an adult to protect these kids? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or was it happening after hours? Was it happening during school hours?
Look, I don't think the teachers and security, they anticipate something like this to happen.
Yeah.
So you might find that when the fight ensued, they were not around. Sure, they were around within the premises, but not in the presence of these boys. And so when now there was commotion, you find that they came to stop the fight.
Yeah.
But the damage had already been done.
I'm sure
It takes a moment to just mess up your life.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because that kid is going to live in fear for the rest of his life. And he's only 15.
Which ties in with what I wanted us to talk about in the spotlight, which we'll get into later. The question I also wanted to ask is, with what happened with these boys, do you guys think it's a reflection of at home, what is being instilled, the conversations that are being had, etc.?
It could be that. I mean, generally speaking, like when you see, and like I said, I'm, generalizing here. It's not specifically to anybody. But when you see aggressive people, it stems from somewhere. It's either there's abuse in the home, they've either been abused, or they are watching things that are also then instilling that violence in them.
Criminal minds.
They're angry about, guys, sorry. I've become a psychologist now because of a TV show. But you know what? You watch shows like this and it makes you understand certain people. And it's not that I'm sitting here trying to understand a criminal, but at the end of the day, that person is a human being born
100%.
innocent before they become a criminal. So you need to understand what gets them there and what charges them to actually think like this. You know what I mean? So it could be abuse at home, whether they're being abused at home or they are watching somebody being abused at home. And you never know how it's going to stem. It could go either way. It could go to a point where you become an advocate for abusers, for abuse victims rather, because you're watching it happen at home. So you want to then be the hero in the situation. You could either turn into the hero or turn into the villain, and you never really know how it's going to turn for that person who's in the situation.
Yeah.
Because if you're like you're saying with that situation with the kids. What was it about that one boy that got them so angry?
Yeah.
But also for them to go as far as getting weapons. Because those are weapons. A hockey stick is a weapon. Do you know what I mean? for them to actually get those weapons and beat him up? What was the decision? Why did they all sit in a group and then decide this is what we're doing to this kid?
And he's begging. He's begging to stop them.
Mob mentality is something else.
I'm reminded of Somla Dandala. He once said something that stuck with me. He said, you know, whether as a parent, whether you're absent or present, that does not guarantee that you will have successful children. And remember, success is multidimensional. So he was not talking about it from a finance point of view. And it hit me that as a parent, you could be doing your absolute best.
Yeah. And it all depends on that individual at the end of the day, because just because they are your child, yes, fine, they'll have certain genetics that you will pass on to them. Maybe you'll pass on intellect or business acumen or whatever the case may be. But that person's decisions are their decisions at the end of the day. You could put them in a private school and expose them to the most elite of positions. They can still come out of that private school and still want to take the shortcut to success. They still want to then, they'll find themselves at the Madlanga Commission because it's easy to take the shortcuts.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Influence, guys. Like for me, influence is like a big part of how you carry out yourself or how you express yourself, like even the whole, like, let's say your parents have committed to taking you to a private school or a good school for that matter, or whatever the case might be, but then your company, what they wanna understand, and you spend most of your time with those guys, and no matter how much you go to the school, but you spend most of your time with these groups, and they influence the way you think, the way you. Even if when you come with your good morals and they are mocked, or you come with your good habits or whatever and they are frowned upon and all of those things, you end up just being like, whatever. Especially at that age, you can imagine how many of the. Oh, I'm not sort of hockey stick. I'm sure it doesn't even play hockey. In that group.
None of it.
I'm not sort of hockey, like a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm sure now they are shaking.
Yes.
Like asking themselves, how. When Joan, but because never Joan, it's a mess. Because I remember even when Tokafis must fall, I almost started something like that. Like,
No, Sabalas.
Now mob mentality, and then I was like, hey, and the whole mob turned into that person, and they were like, hey, bamubita, and I was like, let me just remove myself from this thing. Mob mentality is something else, bro.
It's so crazy because, when people talk about peer pressure and you guys think, no, it's a term from like Fantuka Av. No, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Because you experience it every single day based on how other people think and their experiences and how they convince you that their way is the right way. Because that's all it really takes. It's about touching that next person to be like, no, but this is why this works. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D. You sit back, you're like, actually, you know what? I'm with you.
Yeah. Because you see, when we spoke about peer pressure back in the day, I think, or not even back in the day, but back in the day, it was usually around your circle. But now our circles have become part of social media as well. So now like the peer pressure of influencers just exponentially increased, so it's infinite right now.
It's crazy, man. I hope they get punished. These
Yo,
boys. I honestly hope so.
Try for them, bro.
I'm praying for the kid who got beaten up. I hope he can survive this and he can also move past it.
And heal.
Because can you imagine the amount of the healing, the introspection, the therapy? He's probably blaming himself. Sitting back thinking how he could have done something different, how he could have removed himself from that situation. He's dealing with all of that PTSD, emotionally beating himself up about why he found himself in that position. So I hope he'll be able to heal as well.
Yeah. Cosmo, you mentioned I think it was on Tuesday, you mentioned the breezy bow.
Yes.
Right? And that a lot of international acts are now coming to South Africa. What's happening there?
Hey, there's an influx of internationals who are coming to finish our runs. That time was not money. But it's coming in hot. Look, it's not that I think anybody knows that it's not the first time we've had internationals come to South Africa. Obviously, we've had them over the years. But there seems to be an influx of artists who are now paying attention to what South Africa can give them from a crowd perspective.
Yeah.
We never used to be on, whenever artists would do like an international world tour, they do world tour, meaning America and like 5 cities in Europe. And it's like, no, that's not a world tour. That's US and Europe. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to say world tour, touch Africa, touch Australia, touch the UK, touch, you know what I mean?
Asia,
Yes, parts of Asia as well. So it's nice to see that we're finally getting on those lists of the tour dates. And I really feel like, and maybe it's a personal opinion, but I've seen the attraction to South Africa ever since Chris Brown did the Breezy Bowl.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody expected him to sell out 2 nights in a row. What's the capacity at FNB? Maybe 65, 70,000 people. 68,000 people.
68,000.
68,000
Breezy
people.
Bowl. Ish.
2 days in a row.
That was wild.
And it was trending in America for like, obviously for the time that Chris Brown was doing the tour, because he then left and then still went to Brazil straight after that.
Yeah.
And I don't think they realized the buying power South Africans had, because they think in Africa it's just whatever. Either we are living in the ancient times or everything is happening in Nigeria, because there's also so many Nigerians in the States or the diaspora, obviously because they move that side. But when you speak to Americans, they only think about Afrobeats. They only think about Davido and Burna Boy. They don't look to see, okay, what else is happening on the continent? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that attraction has made other artists to be like, actually, that's a hot spot for me.
Yeah.
Especially as hip-hop artists are, they know that they've got a fan base in America. They know they've got some bit of a fan base in Europe, but I don't think they realized how much access they have to us, and that we've got venues that we can fill up. Because Breezy Bowl did that. Now we just had Travis Scott. That also kind of blew people away, and there's more people who are bringing in dates. Ghana's coming back for a second time now. We've got all these Americans who are coming. Drake apparently has got a date for next year. Kendrick's been here obviously twice before. I think he's possibly might even look at coming back a third time. We've got Kanye, who's possibly going to be at Ellis Park. So I think now people are starting to realize that's a hotspot for entertainment, and I'm loving it obviously because at least we're also now being considered. It's just the ticket prices,
it's
guys.
a lot,
Please help us out.
so Travis did his show recently, right?
Yeah.
Breezy did the Breezy Bowl 2 nights, right? And there was a lot of hoo-ha and roar regarding that. I'm just sad about one person, right? I'm sad about Casper Nyovest, guys. Because after Travis did his show, and I think he saw a headline that said, Travis, the best to ever do it at FNB, blah, blah, blah. And then he came out, and it's unfortunate that I don't have the video. But he actually recorded a video where he's very despondent in the video. And he's talking about he doesn't understand why that was even a headline.
Okay.
He's done fill-ups, so many fill-ups. He's done F&B as well. But there's never that much attention paid to him after the show has become a success. And I was just sad about what he was saying.
I don't know about not getting attention. I think everybody gave him his praise.
I mean, sure, but in maybe in the same manner. Like, it's a big deal, dude.
I don't know if it's, I don't think, okay. Firstly, I think at the end of the day, each concert has got its merit of how big and how great it is. And you must also remember, for someone like a Travis Scott, he's also coming off the back of Astroworld and the disaster that happened in the States where the kids died. So people are a little bit up and down about, okay, should Travis still be doing big concerts that have got that many people, the capacity or whatever the case is. He's still obviously doing tours and such. So I don't think he expected to have such a big reception in South Africa off the back of, what's been happening with his tour. But I mean, his tour's been doing really well, this current one, so maybe not. But I do think every concert has got its merit in what they've done. I don't think anybody's taken anything away from Casper personally. I think we all gave him praise. We're still giving him praise even now, because at the end of the day, he's still the only South African to do that. So if anything, he needs to, I think there should be an appreciation that he is at the same level as an international star to be able to fill up a venue like that, because no other South African has done that.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, I think even the president came out and congratulated him on FNB, didn't he?
I don't know. Probably.
So the issue is in the headline and the
Yeah.
wording.
Yeah.
Then take it up with the journalist. I mean, like,
Yeah, 'cause I feel like-
because I feel like as the fans, we've all
Yeah,
given him the praise,
100%.
and we still give him the praise today
100%.
because nobody else has done it, and he has that accolade to hold up and be like, you know what, I'm the only one who's done it so far.
I think
And that's
it's
it.
just one of those to remind us, maybe just to get under our skin to remind us for a. But like obviously, like honestly speaking, even me, like as a fan, like bro, come on, bro. And I think with what you're saying, like the merit thing, like every conference or concert is different. Social media wasn't what it was then.
Yes.
So like now the hype is obviously more because Hosheba, the demographic that goes to a Travis Scott thingy, bro. Like it's these kids, bro. Like it's like the
Yeah.
TikTokers of note, the streamers, the TikTokers.
But also, a lot of those kids are also still in high school. Because I was listening to YFM when obviously they were busy interviewing some of the kids who were coming to the concert who had just arrived. They were like, "Yeah, I just got here. My mom just dropped me off. Oh, I'm so excited. I want to hear this song." And you can hear that these people are maybe 15.
Yeah.
So how old were they at the time when Fill Up happened? You know what I mean? So he's right about demographic. But also over and above that, I just think in merit status, I still think Casper still did it. We still give him praise. We still appreciate him for it. I still hold him at high regard because
Same, yeah.
nobody else has done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I honestly think at this point it's just a case of wording and maybe a conversation with the media.
Yeah.
But Travis, he blew us away. And also remember that this is not Travis's first time. So I think he was also personally blown away because he's seen the change in how his performances have become and the people and the reception. Because the first time he came, I don't think was as wild as this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
definitely
Chris
get you.
Chris as well, because Chris Brown's also been to South Africa before, but this was a much better reception than the first time.
I'm wondering if that is maybe insecurity manifesting with Cass.
I just feel like, bro, he was just trying to remind us that I've also done that, or like, like.
That's why I asked the question. But I'm
Yeah.
asking: is it a manifestation of insecurity?
What insecurity? What are you saying?
Yeah, because
I'm not saying anything. I'm asking a question.
Yeah, because now he's on the verge of filling up King Toyota Stadium.
Yes.
In Bloom, right? So I don't think there's any insecurity in him that would say, I can't think of.
And
any
he's gonna fill it up, and it's gonna be
fill it,
successful,
yeah.
and it's
I
gonna
wouldn't
be
say he's
banging.
insecure.
What's the capacity there at Toyota Stadium?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This is 44,000 or something.
Let me check for us. Don't worry, I got us on the Google.
Apparently it's 44,000 or 46. I don't know.
But you know what? One thing I can also always appreciate for his team, 46,000. 46,000. So big ups. One thing I can appreciate about Casper's team, and I don't think people say this enough, it's not easy putting together an event. It's not easy selling that many tickets. But continuously doing it at every other
100%.
concert,
Yeah.
at every other stadium.
Yeah.
That is not an easy feat to achieve. The fact that they've done it they can mention the stadiums, FNB Stadium, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still be able to have the footage and the pride in saying we're gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, bruh. Salute,
100%.
man. Like,
Eventing is not easy.
it's not easy because for me, like,
It can make or break you, that thing. You'll lose your
Eventing.
mind. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have experience with that because I used to host. Well, I still do all white event. Every December, I have an all white, and just putting that together is.
It's
a
a
lot.
headache. And you're not even talking about 46,000, 68,000 people.
No.
You're thinking
Maybe
about
5 clip.
that's
But it's like,
yeah, but then you have to think about every little detail. So the fact that his team has the tenacity to keep doing it over and over.
and doing it better than the previous time.
Shout outs. I have to give it to the
Why
team.
I say insecurity, why I make mention of insecurity, you've done like all these fill-ups. Why does it feel like you still need to prove yourself by making these videos? And I think that's how I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? But I hear you guys.
Like I think it's like what Chaba was saying. It's just a reminder to be like, yeah, Maralina.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to the next couple of artists. Please keep
them coming.
remembering us. We are here at the bottom of the
would you
continent.
I think let's get into the spotlight. I wanted us to talk about Soul Buddies and Soul City. There's a new show that they are bringing out, but I think maybe we can talk about that next week. The spotlight. Yesterday was quite a heavy day for me. I had a lady come in and shoot a podcast, and she was talking about healing. She was talking about the boy child, and I was so touched. It was just the two of us, and I was recording her. And as she was speaking, I was reminded of, and Sechaba, you remember this conversation. I'm not going to mention where it happened, but there's a time when Sechaba and I were together, and a couple of our other friends, and we were talking, and a man, probably in his 50s, he overheard us, and then he joined the conversation. And he had been drinking quite a lot. You know what people say about alcohol
Honesty.
and honesty, right? And he had been drinking, so he came, and he said something along the lines, and please correct me, that he's going to leave where we were, probably go to a club. He's wasted. And that he'll find a young girl and take that girl home, right? And they'll do whatever it is that they're going to do. And he'll wake up the next day with so much regret, not understanding why did he do that, feeling empty. And the reason for that, the reason why he does all these things is because the young 18-year-old or 19-year-old boy never got to grow up, never got to heal, number one, and as a result, grow up. And so yesterday, just listening to that lady, I started wondering how many men are walking around with their inner boy hurting, struggling, and so on and so forth, right? And then I put together that, I don't know what you want to call it, a piece. Maybe I can read it out loud. That says, if you really look around, you'll notice something. Men are tired, not just tired from work or life, but emotionally drained. You can see it in how we move, in how we love, and how we keep avoiding certain conversations. There's this weight that's been sitting on our shoulders for years, pressure, expectations, failures even. From the time we're young, we're taught to push through. Don't talk too much, Sechaba. Don't feel too much, Brandon. Don't need too much, Thabang. So we grow up learning to manage pain instead of dealing with it. We learn to perform strength instead of actually understanding what strength is. And after a while, we start to see the cracks. You see it in the relationships that we have that fall apart, and fathers who are there but are emotionally checked out, in men who can provide for everyone except themselves. And that it's not that men don't want to heal. A lot of them just don't know how or where to start. And this question then came to me that once men start to heal, what do you guys think will happen for themselves, for the people around them, their society? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a deep piece, but I enjoyed it also because I think there's a level of honesty that I think men need to kind of face and also need to admit to for themselves, because in and as much as, and I think a lot of society has to do with how, or the availability to be able to speak about your feelings. I don't think it's there. You know what I mean? Society doesn't allow for that, and I think that's where inherently where the issue kind of stems. When you grow up and you're told you're not allowed to cry, man up, toughen up, you get hurt, or whatever the case is. And I think it's about creating those spaces for people to be able to speak about their feelings. I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was mentioning how he finds it difficult for him to speak about his feelings. And I'm like, yo, The fact that you're admitting it is already, a good thing, But I think now it's about getting over that hurdle. And I think a lot of men face this as well because they're just like, therapy, what is that? Talking about my feelings, no, we don't do that. We tuck it under and we just keep it moving. The train has to, you can't be on autopilot forever. You're still a human being who's got emotions. You're a human being who's got feelings. And at some point, you're going to blow if you internalize everything. So I appreciate the fact that now we're getting to a point of understanding that needs to be addressed. Conversations need to be had. Platforms need to be provided. Availability to sit and cry. If you as a man were not supposed to cry, then why do you have tear ducts? Why do they exist? You know what I mean? Because you're supposed to be able to cry. And that's where the healing starts, is creating the opportunity for men to feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable. Once we can get over that, then we can say, okay, cool. When we heal, how are you going to be a better person? Because with the healing, I think society will start becoming a little bit better. And bring me back again, criminal minds. We will once we start healing those situations that you grew up in, whether they be abusive or whatever the case is when you were growing up, you're also able to deal with it before it becomes a problem. And then maybe, who knows? Obviously, I'm speculating here, but societal issues might decrease, crime might decrease, relationships might get better, the divorce rate might decrease because we're talking and not tucking it under the carpet.
Sure. Sech?
That's tough. That's tough, man. And for me, I think, honestly speaking, I hear what you're saying and I genuinely hear what you guys are saying. But I think we also, as people who look like in our conversations, need to admit that men have made progress, and acknowledge that they've made progress and commend the progress. Because I feel like the more we commend the progress, the more it will actually come about, Like there's a science experiment where like it's like a full glass of like dirty something and then they're pouring like another chemical and it eventually cleans out the other. And I think that's what needs to happen, is that we need to be more cognizant of what we perpetuate in our conversation, to say, Hore, I'll be honest, I come across men now in the season of my life or where I am now, who hug, of which it was something very taboo until, I don't know, until when. I still feel somehow, right, like when a guy hugs me, like when I greet a guy and it's like a stranger, not like a brother, like, or someone that I'm close to, like I meet a broer, like now in the morning, like I met a broer and he like literally and gave me a hug and I'm like, okay, Babo. And just that little thing, it did something to me chemically. In my mind, I thought about it. I was like, this broer he doesn't even know me.
Already, what I'm sharp.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I just feel like the boundaries are going lower.
Yeah.
In terms of, is it boundaries?
Or the walls.
Yeah, the walls, rather, And like I'm saying, like, men are trying to be more in contact with their feelings or these things that we talk about. And I think that has been part of my challenge coming here, like into Joburg, as Mjita, because like you come here and you find it so hard to even like mingle or even have conversations because you end up just dealing on a lot of stuff alone, and different backgrounds, different everything, because I remember even the conversation that you speak of, if we were to be honest, we made that moment hostile for him. I don't think we're welcoming to what he was saying or receptive in a way that he could have actually opened up further to lead to where he was coming from. And I think if we, in that circle or in those circles, if we could learn how to exercise room to say, but what do you mean? Because I think I've told him before that I wish he could have actually elaborated. I wish I could have actually spoken and heard where he was going, as drunk as he was. Even if it was the next day. Even if now we have to deal with the sober him.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if we're as Majita, we can just extend that, what can you say, like the
courtesy.
The courtesy you know, for someone to just come and be like, yeah, Antoine, wabo.
And I think the conversation and the vulnerability also needs to happen between men.
Yes.
Because men know women want you to talk. We will sit here and be like, boo, come on, get uncomfortable, talk about it. You're more likely to open up to me than you are to open up to Sechaba about your feelings. Because you know I am built on feelings as a female. So it makes you more comfortable to be more vulnerable with me. But it's as if that thing is weird amongst men because I can't be soft.
Yeah.
And it's an ego thing where you guys don't give each other the position or the platform to talk and to cry and to hug and to tell each other you guys love each other. There's nothing wrong with that. Give each other the platform to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I think once we break it down man to man, it'll be easier for men to be able to be honest with each other because you guys are scared of each other. You're not scared of women. You're scared of, oh, is he going to judge me if I'm too soft?
100%.
I think it's the ridicule.
Yes.
I think that's the big problem. I'm just reminded of this grade 10 pupil that we were talking about earlier on. So he gets jumped by 8 guys, right? And then the guys, they turn themselves in, blah, blah, blah. He has to go and face society. Some of the conversations could be, oh, but why did you not stand up for yourself? You're a man. Why would you allow 8 guys to, or why would you even allow people to jump you? You know what I mean? So you might find that when he left the area where he was being beaten, he thought to himself, you know what, I'm actually going to go and tackle this, deal with this, whatsoever. And then those conversations happen, right? Where he's being ridiculed, being made fun of, and it's like, okay, but what's the point? So I think oftentimes, to your point, men are like, they've put in the work. But I found that some of them stop midway or halfway. Yeah. Because then I call Sechaba and I'm like, hey, dude, you know, I had a session with my therapist on Monday and this is what happened. And he then takes that and he turns it into a joke.
100%. 100%.
You know what I mean? And then number one, I'm like, you know what? I'm never ever sharing.
Yeah.
Number two, then you start to wonder, like, this which I'm doing, like, should I even continue with it?
Yeah.
Then you stop completely. And I've seen that a
100%.
lot of the times. So you'll find that men actually start the work and then somewhere along the way, something happens where they are being discouraged and it's like, I want what?
I wanted to say, I feel like what the example that you're making is even deeper on its on its own to say you telling me about your session or whatever. Now I remember, like I was telling one of the guys I shoot with for it, like I feel like it's where it turns out and come on, bro, men up. And I mean, I'm like, it's such a small thing, right? But it's like, oh, maybe I should have just kept that to myself. You know, because sometimes you even like it's a small thing, right? But it means so much to I wonder what it would have been. I have strepsils in the car. Do you want some?
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
It would have been a different feeling.
Like what I did the other day. I brought you lemon.
Yeah.
You know, the next day I texted you and I said, "Hey man, the weather's a bit chilly. You're not feeling well. Just put something."
Yeah. So I
that's
just feel
warm
like let's not just talk about it as Majita, but be it. You know, like amongst each other. I agree with what you're saying that it's far more easier for me to express myself to you. Like it would be easier for me to be like, yo, want to abo man up. And I don't want to man up.
You want to be a little boy.
Yeah, I just want to be like, hey, bruh.
It's okay.
You know, I just want that. And I just feel like sometimes with the conversation, it's we're not there as Majita to be confident enough in my vulnerability to say, Hori, I just saw a therapist. Like just that and
I'm appreciating though that there's a lot more Black South African men who are going to therapy in 2025, whereas before it was a non-starter. It was don't you dare, I get trying now, I'm not going to a therapist, I don't need those things. It's not about being crazy, it's about having a platform to be able to express yourself in ways to somebody who is objective to you and your situation and able to hear you out and give you a different perspective. That's why I go to therapy, so that I can also offload. Because generally speaking, you find that men are carrying a lot because they also feel like I can't show a moment of weakness at home, because then what if things crumble and I look like I can't manage things. You know what I mean? I've now married this girl. I've taken her out of her father's house and I can't even put bread on the table. You know what I mean? I get those societal pressures, but you also need to have an outlet and be able to. And if you feel like you can't speak about it with your boys, then at least a therapist is there to give you that platform to offload it, because the more you hold in, you're going to implode at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You can't keep everything in. At some point, you're going to make a very brash decision purely because you're angry at something else, and now you're taking it out on a stranger because now you've got liquid courage and you feel like, actually, I've been angry for 2 months. Here's my chance. And then this person is taking a beating for stepping on your shoe in the club.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's deep.
That's why I'm like, yeah, men, you like are doing like something, you know, like there's progress with what you say,
Yeah.
like the therapy thing, like there's progress, you know, like Lynn Nakele Chap, I can testify to my own progress in how I've learned how to at least own up to my emotions, feelings, and whatever, and express them. Wabo. It's not at the extent at which sometimes I would love for it to be, you know, but it's way better than where it was like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was still young, but 5 years ago. But yeah, I'm more confident in being like vulnerable. Like I choose to be like, okay, hey, bruh, 1, 2, 3, 4, wabo.
The relationships that you've been in, whether platonic,
Why would
or whatever, whether romantic or platonic, where healing, there was a lack of healing, you know, from the men around you. How did you deal with that? What was happening?
Therapy, 100%. Because when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't want to reflect, doesn't want to introspect, doesn't want to figure out, doesn't want to self-carve themselves, you feel like you're hitting a brick wall constantly, and this person just doesn't want to open up, doesn't want to figure out that they are the problem or they are part of the problem. Because at the end of the day, in all relationships, I mean, relationships are a two-way street. Whether it be friendship, whether it be relationship, whether it be family, friends, whatever the case is, you always have to kind of meet each other halfway. And nobody's innocent in anything that kind of, or any disagreements, because how I say something, I might have good intention in the way that I say it, but it's not delivered that way. And then you receive it in a different way, which is now creating resentment in you. I don't know that because you're not telling me. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's a case of my tone is wrong and you need to then tell me, please, can you just be a little bit more sensitive? Then I know, because I'm the one who's saying something wrong, I need to go back and think about the way that I deliver my messages. It might not be what I'm saying, but you're not hearing me because my delivery is incorrect. Do you know what I mean? So with some of the guys that I've dealt with in the past, I think for them, it was a case of them not wanting to sit and think about their things. I know I've added to some of the stressful situations because at the end of the day, I'm human.
Also.
No, please. It's not even that. It's just, I know I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna say something bluntly because the situation is heated and now we're just jabbing each other because that's what the situation is calling for. Then later you go home and you're like, I shouldn't have said it like that, or I shouldn't have, because now you're not hearing me. The next time I bring it up, you've already got your defense walls up because the last time I said what I said, I was angry and I said it in a bitchy way that you don't want to hear me anymore. And now we're constantly battling the same issue because we're not hearing each other, you know? So generally speaking, if I'm dealing with someone, I try to empathize and I'll be like, I'll put myself in people's shoes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they'll do the same for me and we can kind of figure it out. But in the past, generally speaking, men can't do that because they put their ego and the insecurity ahead of fixing the issue because it's about being right more than it is about where did I go wrong. Yeah. And I think people need to sit back and think, how did I add to this issue? How can I fix myself so that I don't repeat my mistakes? But generally, it's hard, I won't lie to you, because whether it's me dealing with, obviously even with parents, it's hard to have the conversation because then it's mina ngimdala now ungakhulumi kanjalo. And then it's like, yeah, just because you're older doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I need to correct you
Yeah.
because the situation, as
Yeah.
my father, maybe you were wrong, or as my mother, maybe you were wrong, or do you know what I mean? We need to be able to have those conversations where even other people are able to receive feedback from their kids, and I think that's sometimes a little, you know, a little bit of a tricky thing. I try to do this even with my nephew because he's a boy child. I encourage a sensitivity from him. If he wants to cry, I tell him, cry it out. Tell me you're feeling. How are you feeling? Because I see him holding back now where maybe he's done something wrong. And then my sister shouts at him. And then you can tell now he's too scared to tell the truth. Then I let him be in his corner. Once he's cooled off, then I go to him and say, well, what did you feel? What happened? What went wrong? What did you do? Then I explain to him, no, this is why you were wrong. This is what happened. So that he also knows he's got the opportunity to talk.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't have the position to be able to speak, he's never going to do it. And he's going to keep retracting over and over and over to a point where we're not even going to recognize him anymore because he doesn't have the opportunity to speak or be comfortable with the people he lives with.
Definitely.
You know?
I think there's a beauty that comes, a wisdom and a freedom that comes with introspecting. I think my relationship with my wife has taught me that. To your point, we're very stubborn and sometimes we want to be right as men. But I think reflection, introspection allows you to think about things holistically and to say, okay, what part did I play? What part did she play? Okay, where can we meet each other? And sometimes you then, after introspecting, you get into a conversation and the posture is not that I want to be right, but that I actually want us to understand each other. And I think that's how strong relationships are built. As we wrap up, I want to start with you, Sech, right? Maybe in a sentence. Answer this question. Once men heal or start to heal, what do you think will happen?
The world will be a better place.
Okay, Miss South Africa.
It will be a better place.
But it will, though. It will,
It
though.
will be a better place. Yeah. That's just, you said one sentence, or do I need to elaborate?
You can elaborate if you want.
Okay,
A sentence would have
that
been.
sentence is enough for me. Like the world will be a better place, and when I say world, I mean my world. You know, and if my world is a better place, I believe I'll bring a better world to anyone I come in contact with.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something that I wish for a lot of men. You know, like I still like, it's not like conversations don't happen. You know, sometimes they come as an undertone or whatever the case. They come, wabo, and because of the lack of tools, you still don't even know, because you're like, hey, even me, I don't have that tool, you know, to know how to disfigure that situation or whatever the case. But I believe if I can better my world, then whoever I come in contact with, will experience a better world.
I think when men heal, we definitely will be living in a better place. I think even relationships will heal. I think society will heal, because a lot of stresses are generally caused or perpetuated with men not being able to speak. So I think with men having that opportunity to heal and to speak, we definitely will also heal as people, as society, and we'll be able to engage with each other a little bit better. And I honestly believe that crime will also decrease once men heal, because a lot of it is stressed by not being able to deal with their feelings in a better position or platform, you know. I definitely think society will heal.
For me, I like to say that we are the same before we are different. So before I'm a guy and before you're a girl, we are both human, and that's our first point of connection. And I think once men start to heal, we'll start to see community, and we'll start to see unity. And the Bible says that where there's unity, God commands a blessing. And to your point, I think many of the social ills will just fade out and fade away, because we fight each other a lot. I'm saying men and women, we fight each other.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we want the same thing.
Yeah.
When you think about it, we want the same thing. And so oftentimes it blows my mind, it baffles me as to why are we fighting each other so much. Because like I said, ultimately we want the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Hey man.
Dog, you did some patching thing. Please close for us properly. Not that patching nonsense that you were talking about.
No. Firstly, sorry, he needs to tell us about his excursion before he tells us about the patching. How was your experience? Did you heal?
Yes, Kunja, that happened.
Eh?
I'm saying, Kunja, that happened.
Yes.
Yeah,
We finally got the excursion done because Sechaba had been running away. So I forced it and I made sure that we booked an appointment and we got him in. And he went to go and wax his underarms.
I mean, I wasn't running away. I was just gathering the courage. And then it eventually happened. And yeah, it was a dope experience. I think the lady, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was very welcoming. And like the whole experience was not something that I expected. The underarms were not
Painful.
Yeah, it wasn't like that deep. It kind of felt like, okay. I even asked her, I'm like, were we doing a rehearsal? And then she's like, no, we're done, my boy. And then I actually did my legs.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
I did my
this
legs.
guy.
And I was like, yo,
Shout out to you.
the sensation I felt after that, I'm like,
No, thank you.
this is
How smooth do you feel?
Yeah?
Yo,
This
you
is
feel like $1 million
life-changing.
bucks, I'm telling you.
like the breeze.
Yo.
I'm like, but I mean, like my legs were like hairy.
Yes.
So like even like the texture of clothing, I can even feel the texture of the sheets now.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it was really dope, and I recommend it.
Look at that. Thabang, you're up next.
Yeah, you're definitely next.
Up next, what?
Yeah.
For
For the
waxing.
next, for waxing and the next excursion.
Waxing, though.
You're that thing.
I waxed.
Yeah.
I can do the next excursion.
All right, so there you go. Tabang's going to give us the next excursion. But we also do have a clip of Sechaba's excursion with the waxing. So we're going to check it out. You
I
go.
hope you enjoy it. And I did say I hope you guys keep to the excursions when you have to do them, because even me, I showed up.
You really did.
I
Shem.
showed up.
Big ups. You even went even further than what I'd booked. So big ups.
All right.
Let's go.
We out.
Cheers.